great energy, good sportsmanship, and looks like we're going to get right into it.
Rashad will be going first. So Fire King is going to kick things off.
Certainly a great way to heat things up. Sam not phased by it. Again, if you got this far in the tournament, you know the Fire King matchup, so obviously they are prepared.
Main phase?
Into the main phase. Normal summon Snake Eye Ash.
Thinking about what we're going to do here, never want to let anything go too far without maybe activating a card from the hand. Talking to your teammate is certainly legal here, so maybe we're going to stop it, but it looks like we are going to let it go after all.
Getting that confirmation is quite nice.
It's good for that interaction awareness month, right? You don't just need to stop the Snake Eye Ash because it's doing something. You need to stop the things that are a threat to you. And if you don't have a way to lock things out, perhaps like Droll and Lockbird, it's not really, oh, speaking of the Droll and Lockbird, there it is.
Well, Droll and Lockbird is going to cut down on quite a few engines that are available to the Fire King, namely the Fire King engine. Because now, unless you already have the Garunix, we're not going to see very many Fire King cards.
Probably not there.
Ash effect.
Using the effect of Ash, we're going to send away the Poplar.
You good?
We're going to special summon from the deck.
Talk about monsters with 3,000 attack and 2,500 defense. Looks like the Flamberge Dragon returns to the field once more.
No.
Oh, really?
First. Now we're just loading in the grave additional monsters, just in case. But we're going to be bringing a card back.
He went Ash, sorry, Oak Summon.
Because
Oak
also
effect,
the
very
Poplar
popular
can
summon.
also activate to put into the spell trap zone.
Stop it? All right.
Effect failure comes down, and that's going to basically turn off the Snake Eye Oak from bringing out that 2,500 attack defense monster.
Yeah,
wow,
exactly.
I am stumbling
Hey,
right
it has
there.
been a long weekend. Don't fault yourself. And our players, too, have been really going through match after match after match. Again, a YCS is a marathon, not a sprint. So don't fault yourself for that.
It's a tough position to be in right now, but it seems like we're sending a card into the graveyard to special summon out Diabellstar, the Black Witch.
Diabellstar is certainly another way to get into the game because you can set that card. You're not adding the card from your deck to your hand.
Yes.
And the Effect Veiler, maybe you could have used it against there. Didn't necessarily know that there was a Diabellstar there because it wasn't telegraphed via Wanted or something like that. So not necessarily a mistake, just operating on the information that you have.
Now, we are able to send that Poplar away for cost if necessary and get 3 monsters onto the field. And the graveyard is loaded. There's actually a lot they can consider. Considering the Oak has not activated the effect just yet. If we put that into the graveyard in some way, shape, or form, and then revive it, special summon it back from the graveyard, the effect will be live again. Maybe we have access to that Flamberge Dragon once again.
Certainly something you can try for. But let's take a look in the deck here as we're operating under original Sinful Spoils here. Snake Eye trying to get a level 1 fire monster. A lot of different choices, obviously, especially in the Fire King version of the deck. You can always go for Ponix. But Ponix wouldn't be doing a whole lot since it wouldn't be able to add anything.
So we're going back with the Snake Eye Ash. Now, the Snake Eye Ash effect has already been used to bring out the Oak, so I think a lot of it is going to be basically relying on the Oak hitting the graveyard and maybe re-special summoning it back out. That Effect Veiler putting in a lot of work in terms of this current position in the game.
Rashad trying to plan out his plays. Still could be a Nibiru coming down at any moment here. We didn't necessarily see Sam's hand, so we're not sure what it is that he might have. Again, when we're saying Sam, that's just a colloquial nickname for this popular play. Itapod is who we mean.
Yeah, I've only known him as Sam. And here we have the IP Masquerena. IP Masquerena link summoned off with the Oak. Likely going into the Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess now can special summon back the Oak if necessary. It is the only live card, after all, that still has an effect after it is summoned.
Absolutely does. Now, remember, we've always talked about our graveyard, especially during this tournament, and so there's so many good monsters that Rashad has placed there that if Sam decided that he wanted to go ahead and put out either Dark the Dark Charmer, Gloomy, or Hita the Fire Channeler, or Shubi's Fire Charmer, would be able to just grab those monsters, and they're really, really powerful. So, especially with that Arvada in the graveyard, that could be dangerous.
Now, Rashad summons out the Amblo Whale. Every time we make the Amblo Whale call, we see an Appaloosa instead. That's the caster's curse. However, Sam, like you said, did not put any fire or dark monsters in the graveyard, making it a lot harder for Rashad to kind of extend through all those hand interruptions.
I think in our future tournaments, you go to your locals next week, really watch that graveyard. Speaking of watching the graveyard, we're going to send another Droll and Lockbird down there so we can use the effect of 1-for-1 to grab a level 1 monster of some kind.
I think 1-for-1 should be in everyone that's playing Fire Strategies deck right now. I think it's just too good.
So it looks like we're going to see another great card here. It is going to be our Poplar. It looks like we did get an update. Our other match right now is 1-1, so we are getting some scores in. That means that this duel is going to be even more important because it's holding the bridge between both duelists, or teams, I should say.
May I? Oh, thanks.
Oh, take a look at that graveyard.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Basically going shopping in your graveyard. That's not a good sign.
It's almost like your opponent's trade binder. You're just like, oh, you know what?
I'll take these.
Yeah, I'll take these. That's a great deal. My 2 fire monsters for your Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames.
Now that is a dangerous point to make, that there is a Promethean Princess in that graveyard, so even if you do try to go into a Hita or a Dark, there's potential that it will be destroyed. But it really matters that, hey, I can get more monsters. As long as I can generate 2 monsters, I may have a follow-up, maybe go into the Dark. My fire shopping didn't work out, now I can go my Dark shopping.
Yeah, you know what? Now I'm more of a Dark Duelist. I changed my mind. But it does look like we're going to link these off, and I think it's probably going to be Hita. It'll also be an SP Little Knight, but there's the Hita, and oh my goodness, that's gorgeous.
It's too shiny, my eyes are getting blinded.
Definitely under the hot lights of Las Vegas here as Poplar enters the Spell and Trap Zone.
And we're attempting to use the effect of Hita. Hita's effect, special summoning back.
Doesn't care about the Promethean Princess's effect. Doesn't try to use it to destroy the Ambler Whale and another card on the field. How interesting. Maybe doesn't want to enable the destruction effect when you lose Hita. Obviously, that gives you a little bit more access to resources as well.
I think one key thing to note is that there isn't a normal summon done by Sam just yet. The first summon was coming from 1-for-1, and if the Hita does get destroyed and we add a 1500 defense monster into the hand, it could be a Snake Eye Oak and just regenerate the entire field.
It absolutely could. It also could express a weakness in Rashad's hand. Perhaps it's very fragile and cannot allow Triple Tactics Talent to rifle through it if he thinks that Sam has it. It looks like we're going to send 2 fires to the graveyard, and it's time to special summon something from the deck. This time, it is that beautiful quarter-century secret rare, Flamberge Dragon.
This is very dangerous. I think if we push the monster into the back, the Ambler Whale, that is going to hurt a lot now. That opens up the field for a lot of attack.
3,000.
So 3,000, 27, and also an 1850. However, we may need a little more damage.
1850 plus 27 is 3K. How much is that?
Doing the math now.
We're a little short at the moment.
Yeah.
Now Rashad not even blinking here, maybe still holding on to Nibiru, the Primal Being, about to clear off this field and not particularly worried about it because so many of the different effects have been used already.
So, but there's still options for Sam. But what if Rashad has a Nibiru?
I think that would be the only thing that would be keeping me in this game. Obviously, you want to hold the line for your teammates, give them time to play, but I'm not sure how you get back into this duel otherwise. Now, remember, Nibiru alone will not be enough. Usually, it's got to be combined with some other supporting card from the hand. But the resources are running out, and if a Triple Tactics Talent did come down, it might be difficult for Rashad to get out into the game in the next turn if he survives this one.
At this moment, Sam is basically playing a duel puzzle. Where's the one hit that can get 8,000 damage?
Well, definitely did well in his classes in Duel Academy so far, as you can tell from the beautiful field there. Just trying to determine how to close this game out and get a number on the board for him.
Now, right now, the only type of monster that Sam can summon are fire-type monsters.
Locked out.
Fire attribute monsters.
Fire attribute, yes. Locked out because of the Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames, which is not something that's permanent. If you link her off, of course, you can summon monsters of different attributes, but she can't be linked off herself because that'd be violating her own restriction.
And we are going to perform a link summon. Wait, isn't that his own copy of
Yeah, that's Sam, a generous guy, but maybe not that generous. Let's go ahead and keep those cards in your own
Let's
graveyard.
put it right into my graveyard, and here's my other copy.
Just like we were saying, our graveyard.
Well, we don't share that much, that much room, okay?
He's just trying to be nice.
We're not roommates. And we are going into the Nightmare Phoenix. Are we going into Zelantis?
Don't think we're going to discard here.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
there's the Zelantis.
No, we can't go into Zelantis just yet. I think that we have to start off with a Salamangreat first, the Raging Phoenix. Now, this is the dangerous point. We're going to keep pushing. Rashad holding it down so far. Are we hucking rocks at each other?
I mean, we might. Not particularly worried. We haven't attempted to advance to the battle phase, so that would be
That
the
was
opportunity.
dangerous. That was very dangerous. Almost misstep there.
Oh shit, god damn. Soup.
Yeah.
Alright, give him soup.
Okay, Rashad didn't have anything of interest. So
No, okay.
Holy.
Nice finish.
looks like Rashad might be going first this time, getting those Fire King cards on the board before anything happens on Itapat's side.
Interesting note to kind of point out is that Rashad did win the die roll. He had the opportunity to choose to go first,
Main face?
but he did
Oh, yes,
not
Mavis.
secure it.
Might have just thought that it would be better to go second, and, well, that may not have played out as well as he expected, but he's going first this time. So we're going to start with Snake Eye Ash.
Snake Eye Ash summoned out. It does resolve. Are we going to see another Drone Lockbird? Usually when that resolves, we can see the Drone Lockbird.
Oh, and
there
there
it is. Oh, there is the
Ah.
cross-out designator. We mentioned that this is a really, really good side. Not just for the disruption from the hand, but also, well, for the rest of the deck.
Both of them smiling. Sam wearing the heart of the cards on his sleeve, just has nothing he can do to answer of it. Looking over to his players, you know, kind of smiling. Certainly not a bad sport about it, but just knows I can't do anything about it. But that is one less Droll and Lockbird that he has to deal with. So that beautiful Snake Eye Ash is going to get to resolve its effect.
Okay, that's one card out of Sam's hand, and we got the Ash to resolve, and the Poplar summoned. The Poplar is not going to be able to add a card, and this opens up the Fire King line without it getting too restricted unless there's even more disruption.
No, and I think you're really right when you talk about the Called by the Grave earlier. You know, if you had Called by the Grave in that same situation, you would not be able to use a Droll and Lockbird yourself. But if for any reason Rashad ends this turn and happens to keep his own Droll and Lockbird, that effect will be able to be used because Crossout Designator only negates it during that turn.
That's right, and we are adding the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye into hand.
I assume it's going to plop right back on the field there. But first,
Ash effect, and we're going to send away the Poplar. This has been the more common line of the combo where they start off with either the Oak or the Flamberge. And
got
it's
to
gonna be
see
the Oak.
definitely see a Nibiru in the deck there. Something to keep a heads up for later if Sam's trying to get into the game.
And right now, Drone Lockbird is not live, so we are having a little consulting moment to make sure that, hey, maybe I'll still be able to just get everything online.
Alright, bet. It's good.
It's good. It goes
It's
through.
good, okay.
You know, finding the perfect timing is very key here. That's the most crucial thing we've been talking all weekend.
This is the interaction awareness format.
Yes. Interaction Awareness Month.
The interaction awareness month. I mean, it just is so important, again, not to just block any card you see. You want to stop the right card in the combo just so that you can see the light of day at your following turn.
Now, I think there is something to think about here during the consulting. When you're consulting with your teammate, you may telegraph to your opponent what you might have.
Just a little bit. It's kind of the danger there, right? You almost want to make sure that you work out you have to communicate. You have to be speaking it out loud, but it would be nice to maybe not necessarily have to say, hey, do I activate this?
Yeah, that telegraphing could be important. Or maybe they're speaking in code words and we can't find out.
Oh, that's true too.
More aspects of the team YCS. Here, study up on how we're going to communicate here so the opponent can't figure out what we're saying.
The Team YCS meta evolves time and time again, and it's so great to have these team tournaments. Obviously, that's something we had since the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh!, but very much in the spirit of the game. And speaking of the spirit of the game, Itapot won that first one, we know, but also Levi on the blue side has won a duel as well. Gary versus Pakawat, there's been no changes, so this really is anybody's game.
And we get to the Link Haribo into the Salamangre's Sunlight Wolf. That's two Cyberse monsters with different attributes, and we are going to Decode Talker Heatzel to get a draw. That's going to be 1,000 life points. That's going to be paid from Rashad.
Really just an incredible card. Again, Decode Talker Heatzel, something TCG players have been looking forward to for a long time. And look, it's really paying off. You just get to keep using those resources and also kind of get those monsters in the graveyard.
Ooh, a triple tactics talent. That is the most dangerous card if it does get to resolve. And likely going to reveal the hand. This is a Forceful Sentry.
And so we've got the Infinite Permanents there, a Snake Eye Ash, a Snake Eye Oak, as well as a 1-for-1.
Oh, this is going to be pretty rough. See, if you're able to use both Crossout and Triple Tactics, having those two cards in your hand, going first, just some of the best things you can have. The knowledge that you know that, okay, there's going to be a 1-for-1. There's probably going to be a Snake Eye Ash. We probably could put away one of them, so we only need to answer one particular line. Or do we get rid of the infinite impermanence so that I can build a bigger line?
Exactly. You don't have to guess what your opponent is going to do. You know exactly what your opponent can do. And so you can set up your plays in that way. Now, granted, for the most part, these players have been playing against these types of decks all tournament long, so they likely know how they want to set up their board. But isn't it nice just to know instead of guess?
I believe we're coming back into the game here, and the triple tactics talent has resolved. We're getting rid of the 1-for-1. I believe the 1-for-1, a bit of a risky card if you leave it in there. Like, what if they draw into a different monster? That means they can still hold on to that Oak, and that Oak will provide the follow-up. But Rashad still is in a very solid position. He did manage to resolve the Cross-Out Designator and got a peek at the hand and got rid of a card, and he's going to have more cards than Sam for sure, because with that Decode Talker Hitsu, we're just drawing even more cards. Ooh, tight position.
Certainly, certainly. And the infinite permanence certainly just not something to worry about again, because you've really gotten it. This would be an opportunity for the infinite permanence to come down, obviously, to block the shot of Punix. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Looks like we're going right into the Sanctuary.
Likely, letting them keep the Fire King Island on the field could create a liability later on, and maybe that's what we want. There are ways that you can stop, say, the big Garunix, Sacred Fire Garunix. And if you negate that, maybe you don't get to see the Kirin, don't get to see the Arvada, and it doesn't really provide all that much value.
True, but we've also seen duelists go ahead and get rid of their own Fire King Island by link summoning out Nightmare Unicorn, discarding a card, as weird as it sounds, to basically blast away your own field spell. But by placing it back in the deck, it doesn't have that negative drawback, so you are not blowing up your own field.
I think that's a little bit risky, but you do what you must, because if you get rid of your own card, first of all, you're losing a card on your own, and you also put a dead draw into your deck, because you don't want to see this card anymore. You've already used most of your Fire King effects.
Well, what a duelist will do to win, that's between them and their deck. But looks like we're going to be sending Punix to the graveyard.
Yeah, let the cards speak for themselves, I suppose.
Let the cards do the talking, right?
That's right. And we're going to see the Sacred Fire Garunix. That's going to
Sacred Fire High Avatar Garunix. We don't want to mix that one up.
A High Avatar Garunix? I believe I thought it was just Sacred Fire Garunix.
Oh, you're right, Sacred Fire Garunix. I was making the joke earlier from the deck list having the different names. My apologies there.
Remember, there's 4 different Garunixes. Here we are. We're starting off with the Field Spell?
There we go. The judge pointing out that is not a monster card, so why don't we go ahead and move that right over there in the field spell zone.
It just needs to be off the field. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, a lot of people, remember, you have to maintain the proper layout for your dueling field, or the judges will call you out.
Now, I'm really excited to see a certain card that we haven't shown, but I'm just going to wait to see if that happens. Won't spoil the surprise, but man, there are some really cool plays that Sam can make with his deck.
I hope we get to see it. I hope we get to feature it.
Oh, man, if we see that, oh, my goodness, it is. The chat's going to go wild.
Starting off with the D-Bell Star, because we have the Divine Temple that placed one card into the back. Now,
speaking about the back, let's take a look at our table scores. Again, Levi has won against Hansei. Gary and Pakawat are 1 apiece, and Rashad and Itapot, we know, are 1 each.
Ooh, the D-Bell Star gets negated by the Infinite Impermanence. I think it's still a really good option just to not give access to those cards. Oh, we are normal summoning Ash Blossom, Joy of Spring, and we are performing a Synchro Summon. Or it's a Link Summon. No, it's a Synchro into Baron de Fleur.
That might be the first Synchro Summon I've seen in quite some time. Putting it mysteriously in the column where Relinquished Anima could get it. I wonder if that's to try to get it out.
Yeah, it could be a bait, but here we are. We're passing turn to Rashad. Rashad draws for turn.
All right, just wondering what we're going to do next. Rashad sort of pensively staring at his cards, not interacting with his teammates, thinking for himself here. I'm going to start by activating Bonfire.
The bonfire is lit, and it's good. Searching out for those Pyro monsters. Pyro's becoming, it used to be such an basically an underdog typing. There's not that much support. Now, oh, it's the best type.
Oh, yeah, I know there are people who were counting the days until there was good Pyro support, but that aside, their pain is over. They no longer have to wait. Pyros are here to stay.
I'm sorry, bro.
No, you're good, bro. You're good.
They're going for the bonfire. Bonfire search. Well, even though we did use an Ash Blossom, it does telegraph, hey, my hand does not have a lot of Snake Eye stuff to kind of push forward. That's a bit unfortunate, but maybe there's a lot of disruption from the hand. I think there's just, you can't write
and there's
someone
the
out.
Droll.
Droll Lockbird.
Droll Lockbird with Baron de Fleur staring it down is going to be a pretty decent field for Sam.
Yeah, this is a high pressure situation now because we spoke about Gamma before, where Gamma gets to negate the card and destroy it, and that removal is so key of just cleaning up the field. Baron de Fleur does the same thing. Not only that, during your own standby phase, we're gonna do a little switcheroo.
It's nice to see the cycle effect of Baron de Fleur during the standby phase, getting a level 9 or lower monster out of the graveyard. That's so powerful after you've used up its single negate effect.
We're going to special summon out Diabell Star, okay? And there's going to be Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. That's the powerful use of Poplar, being able to manipulate your Chain Link to kind of protect your Diabell Star.
Certainly a great friend to Diabell Star, and they'll have many adventures continuing throughout the year. But looks like we're going to go ahead and get the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye.
That's set into column number 4. Are we going to immediately activate it? That likely could be stopped, but there's a lot of danger here. There's so much danger right now. Looking into the graveyard, there's both a fire and a dark monster, so that's going to provide a shot with potential follow with just the Charmer Link monsters.
And you do have to consider that there may be a triple tactics talent at the ready here.
Yeah, that's a true danger.
When you're running Baron de Fleur, it's good, but as we've seen many a time in Master Duel, just using that negate effect as quickly as you can usually will open you up for your best monster to get stolen by your opponent.
This is a very tight situation.
You can hear that in the background. Sam being advised, just wait it out. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Looks like we can see that in the game riddle. Searching through there. We did see the Cosmic Cyclones in there as well. Right now, just grab a Snake Eye.
Oak. Okay, Snake Eye Oak has been special summoned onto the field. Likely can summon back that Poplar if needed.
Now the duelists here, they're just moving so incredibly well, but again, they're being very thoughtful, very meticulous. No movement, no card, nothing is played on accident here. Sam always making sure to get some sort of consult, making sure that he is being patient. Again, take a look at the scores here. This is really a nail-biter. Every duelist has won a game. These are some of our best in the room. Again, this is our top 4 semifinals, and whoever's waiting for them, well, they better get ready because they've got a great opponent coming.
I mean, Pack is so strong. The entire team of Supreme Pro just doing incredible. Also, two dudes also equally incredible in this match.
Take a look at the extra deck here. It looks like we are going to possibly conduct a Link Summon.
This is a strange position. Do you make the IP Masquerena and then make it into the next monster?
Well, it would help because then if Baron de Fleur decides to negate that effect, whatever IP Masquerena brought out wouldn't be destroyed. But that doesn't feel like a good application of it. It might just be, that's just putting bodies on the field that may not sink.
I think there may be more disruption from the hand, and having the Baron de Fleur just holding the fort, it's just so much more pressure. When you use disruptions from the hand and you chain and you build more chains, and then all of a sudden you get the lashing getting negated by such a big monster, that's a big problem. Okay, we're going to go to Hita. Hita is a very strong option because there is the Ash in the graveyard, which can be special summoned back. That's
kind of a catch-22, right? Because you either stop the Hita and they get a monster because they can use its effect when it's destroyed, or you don't stop the Hita and they get a monster because they use its effect and it wasn't destroyed.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, he can search it.
Sure.
I'll just
And don't forget that Jordan Lockwood's still alive, so if we do get that card destroyed, that's going to hurt. But instead, we are going to see Fire King High Avatar Kieran destroy the Hita. But there's not a lot of value there. Now we're going to see...
because it wasn't putting, and there's the Nibiru.
There it is. That's a very shiny rock.
Perfect timing, by the way, using that Baron de Fleur to basically stop the effect. And now that the game was starting to get out of Sam's hands, drop the rock. So Nibiru the Primal Being has been activated. We're still thinking here possibly doing some additional chains.
So we mentioned previously that, you have to wait for different things that got to come onto the field before you drop the Nibiru. Hita is one of those monsters that you have to stop. And since Hita is gone, even if there is a follow-up, it's not going to be Hita. They're not going to be rummaging through your graveyard.
For those of you at home wondering why Hita's effect did not resolve, it wasn't because it was negated, right? It left the field, but its arrows weren't on the field to point to any zone, so there wasn't any monster special summon there.
So I really thought that was a little bit strange that they committed an additional monster. That Kieran right now has no value for that. Basically lost an additional card from hand, and maybe we are getting the turn back. Well done. That is such a crucial point. is there a single card that can do it? Of course there is, because there is a Snake Eye Oak, and with the opponent's Snake Eye Oak, your own Ash could be revived.
Interesting, just summoning out the Droll and Lockbird. There's our Nibiru, the Primal Being, just an incredibly powerful card since it was first released. And
Summon the monster first, Sam. Summon the monster first. Let's get to that point.
there we go.
Oh, this is big.
No. So, using Dark the Dark Charmer Gloomy to special summon the Dia Bellstar, and now you get to immediately set one of those great Sinful Spoils cards.
I'm sorry, but my dark is really shiny, and your Dia Bellstar likes my dark.
Why don't you come over here and hang out with us?
Yeah. And bring an original with you.
Well, she definitely brought the original Sinful Spoils, but we haven't activated it yet. Taking a look at both players' graveyards. A lot of interesting cards on both sides.
Now put back the Dia Bellstar into the other side.
Yeah, we want to make sure we're not running off with Dia Bellstar. Let's go ahead and collapse
You
those
almost
graveyards.
gave away your Heatal last round.
Yeah.
You can.
Is that the trade? I'll take the secret rare Dia Bellstar for yours.
And here we are. Appaloosa starting off. Okay, this is going to be very, very safe.
Looks like we cannot use those dice, obviously, because that would be against the tournament policy guidelines, but it did seem to be it was a 2 material.
And we're going to send away the field spell to get our engine kick started. Now, Appaloosa, just the safest option here.
Your opponent's going to have a hard time getting in if their spells only get them more monsters, and those monsters' effects are negated.
That Nibiru token completely cuts off infinite impermanence.
It absolutely does. You can play very safely here, and we do know that Impermanence is a very popular card right now, and Rashad revealed it earlier in the set.
I think the only option available now for Rashad to even make a comeback, you need both Valor and a Nibiru. And you need them in the same chain.
You absolutely do. All you can do is pray for the rock to plummet from the sky. If Rashad's got it, he's got a great poker face.
That token is really in the way now. Like, well-timed, perfect timing to make the counterplay. And the counterplay is really just, this rock is just blocking you. It's a boulder, it's in the middle of the road here. And it's really hard. It's really, really hard.
We've seen how many times getting stuck with a token could be the end of the duel, whether it was Sword Soul format or somebody hits you with a Gold Pride Nitro Blaster. Getting a token stuck on your field locks you out of all those great cards like Infinite Impermanence or Evenly Matched. So it's no joke to give your opponent a monster.
We get to the Flamberge Dragon. Flamberge just coming out every now and then. Every 20 minutes or so, we're going to see one summon onto the field.
It's been a little shy this set. It hasn't been the immediate starter. It hasn't been the first thing they've gone for because they know what each other are playing, so they've really got to make these plays carefully. And speaking of careful plays, let's move that token to the back.
He pushed it to the back, but that's okay, I think, because he still can't use Infinite Impermanence.
Exactly. He might have been more worried about the fact that there was a body on the field, but you're absolutely right. The token, just moving the spell and trap zone, that doesn't change anything. No evenly matched, no imperm, no anything.
There's a lot of damage on the field here, and we're just basically getting the numbers. We're doing math. This is math class.
All right, well, here comes the Bestower of Flames, bringing out some even more numbers. And by the way, check out the co-link, by the way. Because Nightmare Phoenix is co-linked with Appaloosa, no monsters will be destroyed by battle.
And here is the Zelantis.
Oh, wow.
As long as we can enter battle phase, this could be a very clean finish. There's no effect Valor option. And once you go into the battle phase, you can't use those cards.
Exactly.
This is 18 plus 19.
Counting out the
18
damage.
plus 19. Yeah, that definitely has the damage for sure. Because Appaloosa has at least 16, X16, 25, and with the Destroyed Phoenix, that's 19, plus onto the Salamangrates. That's definitely over 8,000.
Making sure that we calculate everything and play this out fairly.
Right.
That's a lot of that. No, this is definitely enough.
Oh, yeah.
This is... Oh, did he not declare the attack?
Use the effect to pop.
That's only outside the count.
Sorry, like I'm just going too fast. I'm sorry.
Slowing things down just to make sure that we're doing this in order correctly.
I was going way too fast.
Oh, yeah, gotta calm down sometimes.
I mean, the nerves can get the best of you. Even if you're a seasoned duelist, we've seen it before. Duelists love this game. They can try to play it off cool. They can say, yeah, we're just in it to win it. They love and care about this game. And
This is
when you get a
something
little too excited, yeah.
You just can't choke on these particular points. No, Appaloosa has about at least 16.
2 materials, I believe, so you should be 1,600. That's correct.